Explained. I'm Richard Marquez. I've actually been part of BNI for it'll be 10 years next month. So this is not my first rodeo, but this is my first presentation to you guys. So I wanted to take a few moments to, as been in the past when you first introduce yourself, to maybe let you know a little bit more about myself and the people that are close to me in my sphere, and then at the very end I'll explain more about Rudolph and Hammond. Oh, better? Okay, thanks. All right, go ahead, please. Family. That's an old picture, right? That was right around the time that high school. My dad, he had me when he was 17. My mom was 19, so they were both pretty young when they had me. And my brother and I are 14 years apart, so they weren't sure when they had me that, you know, they're on the fence. Should we have another one? Should we not? I guess they wanted to see how I turned out first before they had another one. And they had him. So my dad was in retail for many years. He retired last year from Sprouts as a buyer. So I would have had some stock with Sprouts. I would have retired too, but I didn't have any. So shame on me. My mom retired from communications. She worked with Mountain Bell for 30 years. So she did that for a long time. She loved it. And she's a great cook. As you can tell, I'm not afraid of eating. And then my brother, he's currently a store manager at Sprouts Farmers Market over at 7th Street in Bell. So if you go in there and say hello to him, Gabriel. Okay, thanks. This is my wife, Rebecca. Some of you might have met her once or twice at a couple of the social events we had. She came to Arizona 12 years ago and went to Le Cordon Bleu Cooking School. Anybody ever heard of that over there in Scottsdale? Yep, she did that and then got a job over at the Scottsdale Plaza Resort. And she worked her way up to be executive chef at that resort and realized a lot of hours and a lot of hard work. It was a little challenging, so she decided to go into sales. And she is now currently a salesperson for a company called Arizona Hors d'oeuvres, which is a purveyor of hors d'oeuvres, desserts, entrees, stuff like that. And they supply products to resorts, restaurants throughout the valley. And she also has Sedona, Prescott, and Flagstaff. So we met at Sprouts Farmers Market when I was a store manager in 2006. She was an employee of mine. Yes, I did date one of my employees. Shouldn't have done that, but I did. Well, put it this way. She came over for the first date, and she never left. Literally, she never left. So we've been together now for 10 years. I'm very lucky and fortunate to have her in my life. She is truly the love of my life. Next, please. My daughter, I've got a daughter. She's just turned 27 in April. Her name's Carissa. She lives in Colorado Springs now with her mom. Me and her mom were never married, high school girlfriend. Fill in the blanks there. But she went to the University of Arizona, or she graduated from U of A in 2011. So for a period of time there, we were a house divided. I did go to Arizona State, so there was some, yeah, there you go. See that over there. So it was challenging for a while, but I actually learned a lot about Tucson going down there a lot when she was going to school down there for those 4 years. And, she was pre-med background. So now she's traveled the world since she left U of A, and she spent a year in South Africa in Port Elizabeth. Where's Brian at over there? So she actually had to raise $40,000 in 6 months on her own, and she raised 60 grand. So, I'm asking her, can I borrow some money? She didn't loan me any, but it worked out. No, she went over and she did that time over there, and she's also been to Uganda 3 times on different missions, Costa Rica, Canada. She is truly a world traveler. Now she's back. Now she's shopping PA schools, so she's going to hopefully get into that industry. So, next. Our puppies. We are obviously dog people. We got Chihuahuas. Anybody else have Chihuahuas? No, there you go. Yep, that's Sophia and Manola. They are sisters from different litters, and they actually are the ones that run the house. It's their house. We just live in it and pay for it. So those are our dogs. Next one, please. All right, a little bit about my background as far as school and what I like to do. I went to Apollo High School. I am a native, born and raised, all 47 years. Went to Apollo High School in the West Valley, Arizona State, and then I did take some school, extended education at the University of Phoenix. I did play all 3 sports in high school, football, baseball, and basketball. I had a couple of scholarships I turned down in football because they were smaller schools. Chose to take the Scholastic Scholarship at Arizona State, so did that. In hindsight, I wish I would have continued playing football, but, I guess we all make decisions for a reason. I love hiking, golf, tennis, softball, and weight training. I played golf with Huddlemeyer, Lou, and Joe McDonald last week at Greyhawk. Who owes who money, by the way, on that one? I forget. Yeah, no comment. Yeah, if anybody wants to play golf, let us know. We'd love to get out there and play with you guys. I hike almost every day. I live over in 100 Hills in McDowell Mountain Ranch, so I can catch a trail from my house. So, 7 days a week I do that, and I weight train 5 days a week. We all have our history of weight challenges. Let's see, I was actually almost 400 pounds in 2003, so I've lost 160 pounds. Thank you. Yep. So it was challenging there for a long time. I was behind a desk, which, if you go to the next screen, in my career path, I started with Smitty's. Have any locals here that remember Smitty's? Yeah. I started there as a carryout in 1985 and worked my way up to being a store manager. Left there in 1997, realizing 80 hours a week or more, and 120 employees, and their whole lives and everything they had to go through was a lot to deal with, not having a life. So I ended up getting out of retail, going and worked for Quest Communications. I did that for 8 years. I was a sales consultant for them, both inside and outside. I put a little picture of a Concorde up there because I did win a trip. I was one of 25 consultants in the company to win a trip for sales to go to Paris and London on the Concorde. Did that in 1999, so got a little certificate saying I flew on the Concorde. That was pretty cool. I tried to actually cash in the ticket and say I'll just fly coach because the ticket was 12 grand. They wouldn't let me, so they had to take the trip on Concorde. I got some great pictures of that. If you ever want to see them, I'll show them to you. I left Quest Communications, went over to Sprouts for a year and a half. I was a store manager for them. Realized I did not want to be back in retail again. And Paul Rudolph, the managing partner of Rudolph and Hammond, had known my career path, had known him since 1995, and they had just won a big case with Cooper Tires, and they wanted to hire a marketing consultant, so a marketing director. So I actually went over and worked for them as their director of client relations, same title as Andrew has. And I was with them for 6 years, and then Mr. Rudolph and I talked about me starting my own company, which I did, and I'm independent consultant for Rudolph and Hammond. They're my only client, and so thus I started Marquez Development Group. I'm getting down to 50 seconds left. Why Rudolph and Hammond? I've referred over hundreds of cases, millions of dollars in awards to the clients. It can happen to you. That was my car in 2011. I rear-ended somebody. So it can happen to anybody. Be careful out there. I actually have been in 3 accidents in the past 10 years, and Rudolph and Hammond has helped me with all of them. Types of cases that they do handle: automobile accidents, medical malpractice, motorcycle, airplane, construction site, wrongful death, defective products, drug driving, and sexual harassment. Next page. If you hear everybody's in an accident, have them give me a call. Richard Marquez, Marquez Development Group. Referring attorneys you will swear by. Not at. That's it.